Welcome back, guys. This is another episode of the Jordan Patrick Show. I am your host, Jordan, here with my buddy Richie Hicks, Brett Bandick, and Elliot Evans. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Doing great, man. We're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting show. This is Super Bowl Sunday. It's going to be packed full of some good topics. We got a lot. We got a lot for you guys. Let's just jump right into it and say we're going to do something with the show moving forward. Effective immediately. I'm going to pass the torch to Mr. Richard Hicks here. You guys have supported us from day one, and we really appreciate all of the followers, all of the comments, all of the love, purchasing the merchandise, and just giving us all the support in the world. Richie's going to branch out and go and do his own thing, and we support him 110%. And you're going to do great, buddy. So thank you very much for carrying the show for 2 years. You as well, Elliot and Brett, being a constant thorn in our guest on the show. So thank you guys very much for all the support and all the love. But it's time for me to pass the torch and do other things and other short-term goals and long-term goals that I want to achieve. And then basically Richie's going to hit the ground running and take this and do great things, man. I have nothing but respect for you, and I know you're going to succeed, dude. So thank you for all your help with this. Best of luck to you. This is your show now, man. So take her away.
All right. Super Bowl Sunday. This is where we originally started 2 years ago. Right after we lost the great Kobe Bryant, and it happened to be going into that Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. We brought the whole crew for this one because, Brett's been a massive contributor to our football rundowns. Elliot and I were doing this last year, big game coming out of Los Angeles. Second year in a row that the home team is hosting it, playing in their own stadium. Never happened before until last year, and now we're getting it 2 consecutive years. Got to shout out Brett. You're here in the house, dude. You called this shit going into the playoff bracket. You said Bengals and Rams. You're the only dude I honestly know that said that. And I'm not talking about picking a conference championship. You called this before the playoffs started on our AB and Arians show.
I called it before week 18.
You saved it, bro, because that show, honestly, I thought it was a pile until you got your prediction right. But, seriously, it was an awesome show. But, yeah, Brett called it, man. But you cannot speak about any Super Bowl without talking about the guy who has the most Lombardi trophies. This widescreen has me moderately confused.
We got you.
There we go, buddy.
Yeah.
The struggles with the bandwidth. That's why we're sitting on top of each other this evening.
It's cozy.
Still enjoying the company. Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's legacy and what he's left to the great game of football. It's only fair to start with you, Brett. You're the biggest Patriot fan I know. I want to hear it. Tell us about Tom. What has he left to the game? What he brought in 22 incredible seasons?
It's pretty remarkable what this guy has accomplished in 22 seasons in the NFL. I don't think it's ever going to be matched. His integrity, his leadership, just how he played the game, his, the relationships he's had with everybody. And, he was a class act his entire career. I don't think we're ever going to see that in my lifetime. Anyhow, I don't think we're ever going to see that ever again. The man has gone above and beyond every milestone put out there for an NFL quarterback. Super Bowl rings, MVPs, every postseason record probably known to man. This guy's done it all. And, it's been a very emotional week for myself. I actually got a text from my son when I was at work saying, "Hey, Tom Brady retired." It's like, no freaking way. No. And yeah, he was right. He retired. And got a little emotional on the spot. The man has put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the NFL for 22 seasons, and everybody recognizes it. It's been a tough week, but I'm pretty sure for Patriot fans, it's been a tough week. But for his family and himself, it's probably been a great week. But I'll miss him. I'll miss watching him play every Sunday. I'll miss watching him play every postseason. It's just a state of my heart. But I'm happy for the man. I'm happy for his family, and these future quarterbacks that we have going on right now. I mean, I'm looking forward to the future. But what Tom Brady's accomplished in his entire NFL career is remarkable, and I'll miss him. Always will.
Don't cry, buddy. Don't. It's gonna be all right.
Nah, well said, Brett. The thing that was always going to stand out to me with Tom Brady, a lot of times when guys lose on the grandest of stages, their careers are never quite the same. I think you can use Matt Ryan as a great example. Donovan McNabb chunking up the chunky soup while T.O. was playing on a bad leg. Jake Del Hume, as our late friend Matty would call him. Never heard from him again after he played Tom. Now, the reason what sets Tom apart from these guys, and it's not just about winning and losing. And I will mention Kurt Warner took a step back before taking a step forward after losing to Tom. That also happened. He resurrected his career after his stint with the Giants. When Tom Brady lost his only game of 2007 in the most cruel way, which would be the final game of the season, Super Bowl 42, one of the greatest games ever played, it could have been very easy to never be right after such an emotional loss because they were on a track to become the greatest team in the history of the sport, superseding the 72 Dolphins and probably the 85 Bears. I think that's usually the consensus of what most people would say were the two greatest teams of all time. They were upset, and it was a crushing defeat. He came back determined, and in week 1 tore his knee. And essentially, that started the second half of his career. The Patriots reinvested in Tom Brady. Entourage reinvested in him. That was a great episode. My man Turtle put him on full blast. That shit was funny.
The show is so great.
Yeah, it was. He was like, "Hey, don't I know you?" He's like, "No, motherfucker, not unless you were at the Giants Super Bowl parade." And for Tom to even embrace such a painful loss in a comedic way, but then to roll off 4 more Super Bowls. There was a lot on the line in that game. He could have tied Joe Montana for four, which he didn't do. There's not really a lot of GOAT debate anymore because of how Tom has just crushed every record. And then to go to another conference in the latter stage of his career and to win with a new coach that he never played for. All kinds of new faces with the exception of Gronk. It just speaks volumes about how adaptable he was and how his career spanned through literally almost 3 different breeds and eras of the NFL. It's fucking remarkable, man. And, as a Giants fan, I'm going to give him the ultimate respect. The fact that we beat him twice on the grand stage means a little more because I know how great that man was. And that is the ultimate compliment I could give to any player. And I do mean that sincerely. Going to miss watching him play. He was the ultimate winner. And you could even go as far as putting him in potentially the greatest athlete category with the likes of the Michael Jordans, the Muhammad Alis, the Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth type. He was that instrumental for not only driving the NFL to newer heights. Prior to him, the face of the league was probably Brett Favre. I think we would agree on that. Now it's veering towards Patrick Mahomes. And Mahomes is phenomenal. He's got some big shoes to fill. And congratulations to Tom on a phenomenal career. Storybook. And it's very rare that you could lose your final game of your career and look better than the guy that beat you. But somehow Tom managed to do that. And I hope that we see him on some level whether it's in the booth. I don't know. I can't see him coaching. I really can't. But whether we see him maybe in the booth or on some level or layer, maybe, who knows? I mean, Eli's an ambassador for the Giants. Maybe Tom will take a role with the Patriots. Him and Mr. Kraft are very close. But whatever he decides to do, I'm sure he's going to crush it because the guy's a winner and the guy has persevered, and he's an inspiration for dudes over the age of 40. Great job, Tom.
I'll just say that, looking at his career, Brett covered the, first 20 years pretty well, but he's going to do a hell of a lot of commercials. I think he's all over TV now as is. So he'll keep himself busy, and endorsements will keep coming in. So he'll be fine. Nobody's really worried about him, but he had a hell of a career. And I just remember having the conversation on the show when he signed with Tampa and got, I think it was 50 or 51 million over 2 years. And we were discussing that it was possibly too much money. And at no point, I don't think we can check back on the records that we all thought he's worth it. I mean, he's obviously proven himself. It just seemed like Elliot said it, that he's setting a new benchmark for these quarterbacks. But what a hell of a quarterback for these young kids to look up to as well. You got Mahomes, you got Josh Allen, and all these young guys that can potentially be the next. But I'm kind of with Brett on this. I don't think there will be another Tom Brady. And if there is, it won't be in my lifetime, in our lifetime. He's just remarkable what he's done in this game and for this game and for these young guys coming up as far as a role model and somebody to look up to and aspire to be like. It's cool as hell, man. He's done a lot of great things for the game. And a lot of these kids, have a chip on their shoulder and they say, I don't want to be like anybody. I want to be like myself. And I get it. But if you're looking to mold your career after somebody and how to be, it's that dude right there. So.
I got to say one quick thing to your point. Our episode, how it intertwined, unfortunately, with losing the great Kobe Bryant, our original Super Bowl episode, our first inaugural episode. Kobe became his own entity, but he did model his game after the great Michael Jordan. And Kobe was so damn good that people can actually debate who is better. So to any of these guys, to your point, that say, I'm going to be me. Nah, dude. Follow that man and then carve out your own thing because he is the ultimate handbook on what a winner is supposed to look like.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%. So
I think it's interesting you bring up Michael Jordan because Tom Brady occupies the same space in football for my money. Like when you're talking about the greatest players, you have to talk about Michael Jordan in basketball. You have to talk about Tom Brady in the conversation.
Absolutely.
That being said, the legacy can only go down from here. And you have to wonder how long he can stay away from the game. How is he going to re-enter? And he's a fucking genius. Like he knows that. He knows, to Rich, your point, him going into coaching seems unlikely because you're only going to screw up your legacy.
Yeah, you don't want to paint it up. It's very rare that a Hall of Fame player could be a Hall of Fame coach.
And it's not that I don't think he would be a great coach if he put his mind to it. It's just it's a different game. It's a different expectation. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him in the coming years and how his legacy holds up because as of right now, he's the greatest quarterback of all time and among the best players to play the game. So where it goes from there will be truly interesting.
Dude, if he joins the Manning broadcast, that's going to be fucked up.
Yeah.
Bro, they have a great chemistry, the three of them.
If they want to put in like serious work into, trying to get a big part of that Monday Night Football viewership, add Brady to that, that's fucking
that'll be
gold.
That'll be so good.
I mean, he could. I'm sure he would be in tough competition.
It's a different way to watch.
Let Romo be better than him for long without coming
after him. Very successful in year one. It's a new way to watch the game, and I'm sure they would love to have Tom join, or even as a more frequent visitor, like that one Jock Me Off guy that we had that was calling in from Chicago. We had some crazy Trubisky fan, but the point is, he would be a great addition to the Manning cast, and both the Manning brothers and him have such a rich history in the postseason. It just makes sense, actually.
Fuck it, man. He doesn't need the money. He's gonna join the Pat McAfee show and just be a co-host there. He'll be the new staple.
He might kick Rodgers out.
That motherfucker could go into politics, man. He's that big.
A lot of things. He's definitely got the following.
And he'll probably be successful at it as well.
Absolutely.
Well, let's move along then. That was enough Tom Brady love there, huh?
Yeah, I'm glad that's never going to happen again.
Richie, what else you got for us, man?
He paid his respects, so I'm happy.
Like I said, the trophy's named after Lombardi, and the Super Bowl MVP might as well be named after Tom. He's got the most Super Bowl MVPs, and we're going to touch on who is going to win the MVP of this game. But before we go there, the NFL does the cool NFL honors the night before the Super Bowl. Wanted to ask Roundtable your guys' opinion. I mean, Defensive Player of the Year, I got to think unanimously we're going to say T.J. Watt, right? Strahan's sack record tying it, actually. I'm glad it was only a half sack on that other one, so we get to keep that record still in East Rutherford. Right.
I'm going to wear my Homer hat for a second and say, yes, it's a little more easy to go with that. Micah Parsons was fucking ridiculous this year, dude. And they're going to give him a Defensive Rookie of the Year, and that'll be enough. But the argument's strong.
I feel you, bro, because I felt that way with Aaron Judge.
Hey, you guys know me. I don't pull the Homer card often, man.
I mean,
Absolutely. Fuck you, AJ Hinch.
Fuck you,
Fuck
AJ.
you, AJ Hinch.
Sure.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like a shutdown corner. No, TJ Watt.
It should be TJ Watt.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I like that.
Love him a little.
I will be. I'm not. That's the low.
So we got a 3-1, I would say. And I like your point, El. It's just that given the history of the way they hand out the award, I think because it's only a rookie.
And I have no problem with it. TJ Watt deserves it. It's just one of those things. Like when you watch, when you're a fan of a team, yes, you're colored to that way, but you're also watching every snap. And if you watch the way, I mean, Dallas's defense went from bottom 3 to middle of the pack and then some, and it was largely on his back. I mean, obviously you had Trayvon Diggs making plays and all that shit, but Micah Parsons changed the character of that defense.
Yeah, take him out of that equation, and that's not even the same conversation we're having.
I mean,
7 consecutive picks or 7
Diggs,
games.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he was. I mean, and he was up there for the whole thing. But
when you think about it, but you're a rival of our team. But I will say this: I think your season ended abruptly. You guys, unfortunately, just had a bad day, and the refs didn't help you none either. I did a show on that.
And by you
anywho,
guys, so anyway.
TJ Watt, I think unanimous here.
Yeah, in my opinion, yes, for sure.
And like I said, I can entertain the Parsons talk. It's just knowing the way that
Not
they do.
over Watt. It's just
entertaining a conversation at that point. I think it's already done.
Sure.
But I mean, it's fun to talk about.
I mean, who would you guys consider for comeback player of the year? That's a tough one.
First half of the season, I would have told you Dak in a heartbeat again, Homer hat. But, man, how about Joe Burrow?
Yeah, buddy.
Starters.
That's where I was going. You got to go with the guy in the bowl right now.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'd say Mr. Joe Hio over there. He's looking pretty boss, dude.
What a fucking star, man. After that injury.
Coming back from that injury, and you have he really didn't know what his future was going to be. And you're going to the Bengals. I mean, and you get hurt right away, and you're still coming back to the Bengals. And look at you now. I mean, it's got to be Joe Burrow. But I feel you on that. Dak was everybody's storyline. They were kind of forcing that narrative early on, but it also fit too.
And
Dak
he
had a hell of a season.
Oh yeah,
but that mental error at the end, that's not.
He faded the whole second half of the season into, of course, the way the game ended in the playoffs. Like it killed his argument, but more than anything, it's just the emergence of Joe Burrow during that same second half of the season was just like, how do you take anything away from that kid? Give him every award you can.
I agree. And the storylines were running parallel for a little while, and then Burrow just took off. He's got that it factor too. He's got that swagger. And he doesn't let you just forget about him because he plays in Cincinnati. And, I mean, obviously, look at him now.
Joe Cool.
He's about to play in his first Super Bowl, and he's already drawing comparisons to Tom Brady's idol, Joe Montana. That's another guy. You know, if you're getting compared to Brady or Montana this early in your career, you're doing an awful lot right.
Yeah, I like how confident he is because it's borderline cocky, but it's not. He just kind of reels it.
He's not cocky at all. He's very humble.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great. Joe Mixon is my second favorite running back in the league. I mean, he's up there. So you couple those two Joes together, man. They're going to do good. They're going to do big things over the next 10 years.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Or however long they're together.
No doubt.
5 years, 4 years, whatever the fuck.
Last but not least, cheerleaders. I've got to go still with the Dallas Cowboys. No, seriously. MVP, regular season MVP. Man, they say they don't include the playoffs when they think about this shit. I think they're a bunch of liars. Sorry, Aaron Rodgers. You're not winning it because you didn't throw a touchdown pass in Lambeau. That was the one excuse. Sorry, Pops. I'm sorry. But that was always the one excuse. Dude needed to have home games. He had one last year. Oh, there's no fans. I even made that excuse for him. He shit the fucking bed. If he's got any testicular fortitude, he needs to go back to Green Bay, go franchise Devontae, and maybe lock him up. Finish where you started, dude, because that's not the legacy you want to leave when we just got done talking about this dude.
Right.
So I'm disqualifying Rodgers.
Well, he shit the bed and he didn't change the sheets.
He did not.
All day long. Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, Triple Crown of receivers, bro. He's got a shot. It's been a long time.
He's going to win.
I feel dig deeper because we kind of know where these are going, but Cooper Kupp is the obvious answer. It's going to happen.
You really think so?
I guarantee it's going to happen.
100%.
Remember just this video right here, right? Just timestamp it at 21:50, and Brett called it, and I completely agree. It's going to be
honorable mentions. I got to go with Jonathan Taylor. What hurts him is that his team didn't make the postseason. It's not his fault that Carson Wentz is his quarterback, but that's the story there. Outside shot because of nostalgia, and the NFL loves nostalgia, and they love storylines. Tom Brady had a pretty good fucking year, and
great year.
No, if they give it to him, it'll be like it's not. That's not right.
It's kind of a hand-me-down if they give it to him. I'm sorry. I'm you know how I am with Brady, but Cooper Kupp. The numbers don't lie. The numbers
interview it far left with the defensive stuff. There's only been 2 league MVPs that played defense, and only one during the Super Bowl era. Most recently, 86, Lawrence Taylor. No disrespect to T.J. Watt or Micah Parsons. Maybe I'm being homerish here. Maybe I'm wearing the homer hat. I still don't think the impact was on that level of what LT did in 86. But maybe I'm just getting a little too nostalgic in my own right. I think Cooper Kupp's going to win the MVP, though. I agree with Jordan. I agree with you, Brett. I think you said that as well. It's a tough one because this is one of those years where the quarterbacks almost cancel each other out and they open the door for these other dudes. You know, and I think the NFL is trying to do a better job of veering away from quarterbacks with this MVP award almost being a short thing because, you know, Cooper Kupp makes that argument hard with the kind of year he had.
Yeah, he better not go to Brady, and I'm not saying.
I mean, look who's throwing him the ball. Like that guy's a B-level, B-level.
I don't think it's going to go to Brady. I mean, granted, he's retired, but I don't know. The numbers that Cooper's put up this year is it's crazy. It really is. So Cooper Kupp all day long.
Unreal. His numbers are off the charts, dude. It's different, like what he did this year. Mm-hmm. And, you know, speaking of Cooper Kupp, he has a game to play. They are
both teams were the 4 seed. I'll just start out by saying, and it's the first time in the history of the NFL that
unbelievable.
A team hasn't been a 1, 2, or 3 seed from either conference making the Super Bowl. First time ever. So that's kind of impressive.
Open a beer at the same time.
Was that in stereo, right?
Yeah, it was.
You know, so I'm happy for each of these teams. Nobody saw Cincinnati going to the big dance except Mr. Brett Bandwidth. And, you know, nobody really saw L.A. going there either except maybe L.A. fans, if there are any L.A. fans, really. But their defense kind of carried them there. Other than Brett. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my God.
We can relive that in just a minute. But I like this matchup. It's a lot of fun. It's not going to be the storyline that the NFL wants, but these fan bases are incredible. I'm just giving LA shit, but this defense got them there. They really did, and it's going to carry them to a victory, in my opinion. I'll let you expand upon your questions, Rich, but it's a lot of fun, man. They set themselves up for success. Being the 4 seeds, they had to really struggle to get there and overcome adversity, and look at them. They're getting ready for Week 13.
It's absurd, and I don't mean to be that dude. I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, I do believe Cincinnati was a 3.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think I could be wrong.
Oh, man. Hold on.
I'll look it up. I'll fact check.
Well, I'm going to talk about this for a moment while we fact check that, because it seems like another lifetime ago that the playoffs started, to be honest. There's so much has happened and so many upsets. And with the 7 seed, I myself have been a little Confucius about these playoff seeds, especially without the 2 getting by.
Okay. It's a person.
Yeah, it was a person. Yeah.
They were the 4 seed.
They were the 4.
Yeah.
Okay, good call, Jordan.
Yeah, it's the first time in the history of the NFL. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. All right. As far as the game goes, it's all about matchups. The Rams on paper are supposed to win this game, and they are in their home stadium. I mean, you're not only Cooper Kupp. I think Odell Beckham Jr. has a legitimate chance to ball out of his mind, win the Super Bowl MVP, because you're drawing second-tier coverage when it comes to anything that Cooper Kupp.
About the Giants.
You're drawing the second-tier coverage. I mean, they're still going to play him underneath. The thing with Odell, he's a dynamic guy. As far as the frontline play goes, that's where all the games are won. The Cincinnati Bengals have been skating by the skin of their ass by having, I'm not going to call them a subpar offensive line. They're average. They're right in the middle of the league, and the stats support it. 20th in the league in most offensive line metrics. I think they get exposed. They already got exposed in Tennessee, but because of Ryan Tannehill, we're able to advance. And Mike Vrabel making a couple of questionable decisions. Give him the credit against KC. I blame that one on the ineptitude of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes together. Both great coach and quarterback, but they had some shit moments in that game in pivotal times. And that kind of brings back the bad memories of Andy Reid with his title game, tightness, so to speak. I like the Rams. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe they'll finally lose because I'm picking them. I'm going to go Rams 34, Bengals 27, and I don't think it's going to be as close as the score projects. I think the Bengals are going to have a big fourth quarter, too little, too late, a la 99 Titans. And Odell Beckham Jr. for the MVP with a touchdown pass and 2 receiving touchdowns. But that dude will not break 100 yards receiving, but he's still going to hit pay dirt twice, and he's going to throw one. He's going to throw one as well.
Now you're reaching.
I am.
I'll say LA comes out on top. Cincinnati has nothing to lose.
Reach around.
Their back's against the wall. They have nothing to lose. But they're not going to get it done. This defense is not going to be like that lazy secondary in KC. How many points did Cincinnati score in the first half of that game? Like fucking 3?
Yeah, they're down by 18 points.
Come on.
18
Come
points.
on now. You can't do that shit against LA's defense.
Hey, Brett, who's the other team that blew a lead that big? It doesn't matter.
I think the red zone thief of all the targets, Mr. Higbee, is going to be the MVP. I like Brett's idea of Stafford, but I think Higbee's going to get 2 TDs. Nothing big, 8-9 yard TDs, something like that, something maybe even less. But he's going to get 2 of them, and he's going to have a big game otherwise. I like the Rams to win close to Rich, pretty much identical. 1 point more for the Rams. I'm going 35-27 Rams. I think the spread is 3.5 in favor of the Rams right now.
Oh, they're begging you to take, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, don't be a sucker. Don't take fucking Cincy with the points. LA's going to cover. And I think they'll cover that 3.5 pretty easily. So, I mean, that's where I stand with it. Higbee MVP, Rams win. I love Joe Burrow. I love Joe Mixon.
All right. I'm going to stick with my original prediction. like to see Stafford pull out the MVP with 13 trashy seasons in Detroit. It's his time to shine. Spotlight at home. It's tailor made for him. You can keep laughing all you want.
I'm loving this is because Elliot and fucking Richie despise Stafford.
I know they do, but here's
the fucking five picks.
I love it. He went to LA.
We can all agree it's cliche. Defense wins championships, correct?
Yeah, we
It's
all
cliche,
agree.
but it's got.
And I think Aaron Donald is going to have an absolute field day with that offensive line.
Yeah.
If he gets MVP, it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all.
Oh, no, I can see that too.
I think that the red carpet is rolled out for Stafford to take the MVP role.
So what? How many sacks would it take for? How many sacks would it take?
It's land at home.
It's an MVP.
What's that?
How many sacks would it take, or just for any defensive player to get
4 and a forced fumble?
You would have to break Reggie White's record. Against who was that against? Oh, that was against the Patriots as well.
Yeah, I know. But against that Cincinnati offensive line, dude, look what the Tennessee Titans did to him.
It could.
A fumble recovery or a forced fumble.
Look what the Titans did to him. You're telling me Aaron Donald can't match that? Like, come on, man. Like,
but you got to see if their assignment sound. Somebody else might have to beat them. They got to get schematic. They got to.
That's what I'm saying. It might need to be somebody else. It might be somebody else. I don't think.
The only way Cincinnati is going to keep this close is if Burrow gets the ball out of his hands within 3 seconds and they do short passes and screen passes. That's the only way to neutralize that pass rush. Right. Only way.
There's too many offensive weapons on both sides of the ball for this to be a defensive MVP this year, in my opinion.
And then you got the Eli Apple factor.
Well,
thank you very much, Jerry Reese.
The rematch, not the rematch, but the matchup that I'm looking forward to is Jamar Chase, Ramsey. Like, I want to see that matchup. I want to see who wins that battle. And I want to see what the kid can do against that veteran that has been in these situations before. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
If anybody can do it, it's definitely Chase. So.
Oh, the guy's a freaking monster, dude.
I'll take anything.
I love what he's done. Rookie of the year, the numbers he's put up. What, almost 1,500 yards?
What Chase getting double teamed? Because even in the Chiefs game, Chase was not a factor until later in the second half. The Chiefs did a very good job of keeping him out of the game plan, but the Bengals went elsewhere, and then they opened it up in the second half and were able to really get him going.
Yeah,
but
playing
a better defense.
Yeah, this secondary and this pass rush is going to be totally different. So,
but at the end of the day, we all know defense wins championships, and the Rams have a much better defense than Bengals do. So,
yeah, for sure. I got to give you
that. I have no reason to believe that the Bengals should beat the Rams. Huh?
You know Dallas can't win, right?
I've known that for most of my life, sir.
And bro, I have a VCR in the back there.
I don't have any reason to believe the Bengals should beat the Rams. I just want them to.
Same here,
I just
buddy.
want them to, right? Like, obviously, I want Stafford to have a fucking shit game just to validate my own predictions. I really don't hate the man. Like, I have no reason to.
I think you're a Florida Gator that can help it,
Right. He came out of Georgia. That has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a fair point. I will say the Rams are something I despise in the current state of the NFL because it reminds me of what turned me off about basketball. And that's that instant, let's fucking spend as much money as possible to bring in every free agent to win this year because it's more profitable for us to win when the Super Bowl's in our hometown. Like, you're getting so many external factors affecting the way they're building this team. And it's worked out for the most part. And they've had the core of the team in place. But trading some major chips to make this season your season, I get it. That's what you should be doing. But I don't like that as a strategy, whereas Cincinnati's strategy has been to build through the draft, to bring players up, to evaluate talent and stick with their guys. To your point earlier, Joe Burrow could have been fucking written off despite how much draft capital they put on. When you fuck up your knee, you're never a sure thing anymore. But there was never a question. Burrow was their dude.
Yeah, he's Mr. Ohio. I think he's from Ohio.
Right. Like, his storyline is great. And I say, fuck the rest. I hope the Bengals win. If they pull it off, it'll be because they're able to get Mixon involved. It'll be because Stafford or someone on the Rams makes some big mistakes.
Stafford.
My cup here, a couple picks, whatever. Stafford's a little trigger happy at times, especially when you put pressure on him. So it's feasible that he could force some deep balls and throw some picks.
I'd be more concerned about Akers or Sony dropping the ball. Maybe. I mean,
Akers did put it on the ground twice.
Good point. Akers is known for Butterfingers, so I'd say if a turnover happens, it's more likely going to happen in the running backs fans.
So if memory serves, Akers is a Seminole.
You just can't.
I would have Sony start. You guys,
I'm not
yeah, I would definitely start Michelle over Akers. That's mental. But
start Michelle Pfeiffer over Akers.
Sorry, Al, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's all good. I think it's a valid point. Those two running backs, you got a lot of talent, and you can argue about Akers' form, right? He came back pretty late in the season. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, right, and so talent's talent, but playing the game takes time to get into the flow of it. And when you got another great running back lined up there to use, how do you not use that?
Right.
Especially a guy like Sony Michel that's been in big game situations and knows how to win. But for the Bengals, so let me say this: it's difficult for teams to build around a defense. You know why defense does win championships, but teams always spend money on offense? Because the best defense in the fucking world can have an off night. The same way that a great quarterback can. Aaron Donald can miss tackles. Jalen Ramsey can get burnt in coverage. The reason why they're really good is because it rarely happens. We play the game because rarely happens is what happens on the field. So I'm hoping the Bengals win. If they do so, it'll be surprisingly low scoring. I'm going to go 23-17.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they're doing random hoping clusterfuck. Let's let it happen, guys.
They're doing it for Harambe. And, I recently last documented photo. But at any rate, they are a feel-good story, bro. But they're not like the typical dog that you think is going to get kicked in the testicles and just get ran over. I think they have a shot. But what you said makes a lot of sense on what they need to happen in order for this to be a thing.
But here's the thing, though. To stretch it that far, El made the greatest point of all. Is like even if this defense, in my mind, has an off night, which they very well could, you still have period. The regular season MVP, in my opinion, and that's going to be enough to get it done. Like, it's just everybody wants this Cinderella story to pan out, but I got news, man. This fucking shoe ain't going to fit, bitch.
I will say this, with the exception of playing a depleted Arizona Cardinals team. The Rams won, and winning in the playoffs isn't always sexy or ultra impressive to the eyes. But I got to say this much.
Speaking of which, sorry to interrupt you again, but look at that. This was the note that you left.
I did indeed write that. I did indeed, and thank you because you're.
It would help if I had my glasses, but my glasses provide a glare.
So I
can't see shit.
What does that manifesto say there, guys?
It's in toddler writing. It says.
I didn't write it. Come on now.
Wait, that wasn't me, bro. That was Tristan.
I can buy it, man. That are
a bunch of scribbles.
Nah, but okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good, bud.
I'll shut up.
They snuck by the Buccaneers. The week before, the Cardinals were depleted.
They snuck by?
The Buccaneers? Yeah, they did. Because they almost blew a substantial fourth quarter lead.
Whatever.
What was the final, Brad?
Yeah, go ahead. It's not
It took a zero blitz.
They dominated the first three quarters. Don't give me this bullshit.
What was the score?
Oh my god! What? Because Tom Brady had another freaking fourth quarter dynamic. Whatever, dude.
The Chiefs dominated the first three quarters. They're not playing. Dude. That 06 Patriots dominated the first three quarters, but Peyton Manning got them at the end. How's that for a Manning cast fucking conversation?
The Atlanta Falcons dominated the We'll go that far.
Yeah. The point I'm making is
the Rams throw zero blitz at Stafford. The next MVP.
Rams have been playing with fate. Bandwidth, cállate. You have your moment. The Rams have been playing with fate. They got close twice to fucking losing to teams that they're supposed to be better than. Tampa was missing Tristan Wirfs. The 49ers are the fucking 6th seed, 3rd place in their division, and the Rams almost lost to them for a 3rd consecutive time. Almost. They finally beat them. So all that money, you finally beat the 3rd best team in your division for the first time in 5 tries. Granted, it was an important one. It was a title game.
That's what matters.
I get that, Brett. But if you're going to tell me that this Rams team is like locked dead, like they're going to do it like with the same kind of championship pedigree of your guy on the back of your shirt, I'm sorry, dude. They're winning ugly and they're winning dangerously. And if Cincinnati can meet that intensity and get past that initial blow, they do have a chance. But the Rams, I'm picking them because I want them to lose. So maybe if I finally pick them, they will lose.
Hell of a way to pick.
Claire, he's rooting for the Bengals.
I think it's going to be very similar to last year's Super Bowl. I think that defensive line is going to blow them up.
It's possible.
And they're going to, I mean, granted, I think Burrow is going to get sacked quite a few times, but he'll persevere and make it a competition. But at the end of the day, I still think that the Rams will come through with a defensive play at the right time.
If they fall asleep in the first half like they did against that KC defense, it's not going to be the same game. It's not going to be the same outcome. They're going to put their foot on their throat.
You make a great point.
They're not going to. Rams can run the ball. KC can't.
I'm sorry. What's that?
I said Rams can run the ball. KC couldn't.
Very true.
They chose not to.
Yeah, they made a lot of poor choices in that game.
I know.
That aren't even.
And I think McVay is a smart enough coach. Like I just hope they don't go with that conservative route. You know what I mean? Like I want them to put the pedal on the metal and
point. Last Super Bowl, his team produced 3 points against your boys. He's got to be ready to like really lay the smack down and kind of do what happened a couple of years ago. 3 points in the Super Bowl, dude.
That can backfire though, man. You can try too fucking hard to make up for that shit. Smart coaches outthink themselves all the time. And they have every reason to think that they should take advantage of this situation. They are the better team on paper, to your point. They have all the momentum in the world, and while Cincinnati has the scrappy underdog story, the Rams should win this game if you're looking at metrics and everything else. But that's why we watch this shit.
Super team versus the big window draft thing. You said it best. You nailed it with the way they got here.
I've picked against Cincinnati
every week. Me too.
And here they are, and I'm still doing the same shit. So I guess they call that insanity, but they're not going to – I don't think it's going to happen, man. I really don't see it happening. I don't know
I see what you're doing here.
I'm going Rams 31-23.
That's what the next question is. What are your point – what's your point outcome? What'd you say? 31-23?
31-23 Rams.
Yeah. I got him.
That's really close to what I got.
Even I was telling myself going in, if the spread was 7.5 in favor of LA, I still think they would cover.
Elliot's always been the wild card. Let's hear the upset. Let's hear it.
I told you it was 23-17, but I'm admitting to you I'm pulling that shit out of my ass because that's the outcome I'd want to happen. And were it to go my way, I think that's a more realistic outcome. If the Cincinnati Bengals pull it off, it would be in a lower scoring game by way of probably a real slop fest, a lot of turnovers and penalties.
That was my MVP. Who do you fellas got?
If it comes down to a field goal contest,
fucking McPherson, baby.
Money McPherson for sure. Money McPherson for sure. Matt Gay hit a crossbar on a 48-yarder. All right, I mentioned Odell. Who you guys got on your game MVP? I'm sticking with Odell.
He said Odell for Higbee.
You already know mine.
Stafford for Bretsky. You're going to go on the Cincy side of the ball, so be smart about it.
Yeah, I mean, most
Chase.
Or Mixon.
Yeah, I was thinking Mixon. I'm going to say Mixon.
Okay, cool.
I think that's the other part of the equation. For them to pull this off, you're going to have to be able to run on LA. As dangerous as the defense is just so fucking good. But if you can run on them, that slows the pass rush. That's just the nature of why you bother run the ball in this fucking era of football, to keep them from jumping up and coming upfield. So they got to be able to run it.
I think to your point, he might get more looks as well because Uzoma, or however you say his name, I think he's dealing with that injury.
Yeah, he was on crutches at the celebration.
I don't even know what his status is of his if he's got a questionable tag or what. But to your point, that might provide more looks for Mixon.
It's gonna continue to reveal itself as the game gets closer. But
that line's gonna change too, I would imagine.
It's cliches of football. The best way to neutralize an aggressive pass rush is to be able to run the ball. And Mixon's a hell of a running back.
Screen passes and
those
screen passes, and
that's how you open up the old play action.
If Burrow doesn't get the ball, no,
exactly.
Play action. If Burrow doesn't get the ball out of his hands within 3 seconds, he's toast.
Take it easy. They're not playing the 85 Bears.
Come on, dude. The Cincinnati Bengals offensive line is that great?
Hey. I love the analysis. All jokes aside, I think everybody made some really valid points as to why or what could and should happen. It's going to be a great game. Two teams that got there two completely different ways. And I think it's going to draw a lot of eyes because it really is the David versus Goliath kind of deal we got going. And I think the league needs that sometimes. And I think it's a good year for the league to get that phenomenal setup for a great Super Bowl. I mean, is the home team going to win in their own stadium 2 years in a row? That's another thing. Like, really? We'll see.
I'm looking forward to the halftime show.
Yeah, that's not going to be bad, bro.
Mary J. and Dre, come on, man.
Landscape of genres of what took over music. That's going to be interesting. It's going to, you got a nice little card of music that's going to be on for the halftime show. And if the game sucks, at least we can say we watched that. I just want to go on record as saying that I've really enjoyed the last 2 years. We've had a lot of creative ups and downs, as anyone does when they're trying to form a good product. And believe me, everything I do is an extension of where the roots were watered, so to speak, which was the Jordan Patrick Show. I had a great time, guys. Brett, I'm going to tell you, you were so consistent with always helping us when you could. And I could speak for all of us that we greatly appreciate you. Jordan, thank you for bringing this to us and having this idea over some beers and what this show could be, and what under my watch I'm going to try to make sure it does ultimately become. Elliot, thank you for explaining some of this, the interwebs and the hash browns. I'm a bit of a dinosaur, but for real, guys, like, this was great, man. And I think the thing that I love about this is that, they say, we always like to support family businesses. And I feel like this is a family business. And whether I'm taking it on a solo tip, you guys are always going to be a part of this at different junctures of where the show goes. Baseball season's coming up. Of course, I want to talk shit with this guy. Elliot and I sometimes will talk about something that has nothing to do with sports, and we find ourselves engaging in, what defense to run. It just always happens. Same thing with Brett. Me and this dude could get in a 3-hour conversation by accident talking about the game we love. But I just want to say that it's been an absolute pleasure, gentlemen. And I look forward to enhancing what we already started here. And none of this is possible without what we already started. And I want to thank all of you sincerely.
Absolutely. And I'll touch on it just for a minute, man. This was an idea I had, and then, for maybe a couple months, and just like you said, just bullshitting, putting our heads together. I was like, you know what, Rich, you and me can do this. We can, you and I can make this happen. And then what better person to bring on than Elle to handle all the production of everything from the jump, and just, you took everything in stride, Elle. Thank you very much for doing that and getting the show where it needed to be. Because we were worried about hash browns and interwebs, and so we aren't the best. You are a hell of a producer, a wonderful director as well, and I really appreciate you guys and making the show what it was for 2 years. It's been a blast. I'm just ready to try new things, and that doesn't mean that I won't be glad to be a guest anytime you'll have me, bro. So I hope I can provide what half of what you gave to me. But the beautiful thing is you have the knowledge, the gumption, the drive, the energy to put towards a positive product. And Elliot and I have given you the legs to start running with. Basically, you're going to hit the ground running with this.
No, I appreciate it, fellas. And like I said, it all started with February 24th, 2020. And it's been an awesome ride, and we're going to continue to do some of this stuff together. And thank you. That's all I want to say.
Thank you guys. Yeah, for
sure.
Thank
you so very much.
Don't want to leave you out, Brett. Thank you as well, man, for everything you did as far as trying to get merchandise up and running and great ideas and being an awesome constant guest on the show. We really appreciate your support, man. You're family, dude. So thank you.
But one last time, Jordan, you deserve to say it. You already know what I want you to say.
I didn't do anything for you clowns. Anything.
Let me get real close to this one. Fuck you, AJ Hench.
Yes, sir. Let's get baseball back. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everyone.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for listening, guys. Thank you for all the support along the last couple of years.
Bye, man.
Pleasure.
Good times, gentlemen.